What if I told you that someone is thinking of you right now? Not superficially, not just on a whim, but deeply, with intention. There is a soul who has turned to you, not simply because you are unique in their eyes, but because something greater than the two of you has prompted them to think about you again and again. What if it wasn't chance? What if it was Allah, gently, quietly, but precisely putting things into place? Perhaps you've waited, prayed, hoped for a sign. You've asked Allah for confirmation, not in emotional chaos, but in peace of heart. And today, without shouting, that sign presents itself. Someone is ready. They want to talk to you, and this time, it's not an illusion. It's an answer. Stay with me, because what you're about to hear isn't a pretty story. It's a spiritual reality that begins now, and it concerns you. 1. The Divine Whisper. When Allah inclines hearts, there are silences that cry out louder than words. Moments when everything seems still, and yet something moves. Not around you, but within you, and sometimes miles away, in another life, another routine, another heart begins to beat differently for you. There was no message, no glance, no direct contact, and yet this person is thinking of you, as if your name had gently etched itself into their memory without permission. This isn't coincidence, it's direction. There are invisible movements in life that no human eye can trace, but the heart perceives them. And this is how the divine works, through inclination, by bringing souls into resonance. When Allah wants to bring two hearts together, He doesn't need noise, spectacular events, or desperate human efforts. It's enough for Him to want it, and souls seek each other without even understanding why. Sometimes this inclination begins subtly, a dream, a reminder, a fleeting thought that becomes persistent. And that heart, which wasn't occupied with you before, begins to turn, to reflect, to feel. You did nothing, you didn't seek, but your name has been placed in someone's mind like a sweetness that returns every day. This is the divine whisper. It's not loud, but it's powerful. It's not visible, but it's real. Allah is the master of hearts, and when He decides to bring two souls together, He does so with a subtlety that defies all logic. It's a silent decree, a heavenly decision that takes shape in the depths of a human heart. This person may not understand right away. They may struggle with the thought. They may push away what they feel out of caution or fear. But the power of what is divinely inspired is that it doesn't fade easily. It returns again and again until the soul yields to that which is greater than itself. And you feel it too, without anyone even telling you. There is an inexplicable calm when you think of this person, a light peace that descends into your heart without you seeking it. As if your heart has recognized something, as if a part of you knows that there is more, that there is someone. When Allah inclines hearts, it is always for a reason. Nothing is done to play with your heart. Nothing is orchestrated to confuse you without wisdom. If He allows a thought to reach you, it's not to distract you. It may be the beginning of a connection, a project, a protection. In the silence of things, Allah acts. And today, that whisper becomes clear. Someone is thinking of you, not because of you, but because Allah willed it that way. 2. The decision that matures in silence. There are decisions that don't arise amidst noise. They don't announce themselves with a bang. They take root in solitude, in waiting, in the sincerity of invocations made in a low voice, away from the gaze of others. Perhaps you didn't see it coming. You continued on your path, focused on your relationship with Allah. You weren't necessarily looking for someone. Perhaps you had even let go of certain expectations, and during that time, at a distance that only God can measure, another heart slowly began to think of you, not to fill a void, not on a whim, but because a strange peace invaded it every time your name came to mind. That heart didn't act on impulse. It didn't leap into confused emotion. It observed. It doubted. It held back its impulses to listen better. It prayed. It consulted God, not once, but several times. And in the silence, in the intimacy of its prayers, a certainty settled in. It was to you that it must turn. This is what we often forget. Real decisions are not made based on the emotions of the moment. They mature, they become clearer, and when they are guided by Allah, they arrive calmly, respectfully, and enlightened. This person doesn't just want to talk to you. They're not looking for a passing conversation. What they want to offer is a meaningful word, a word rooted in a clear intention, under the gaze of Allah. Not a hastily cobbled together connection, but a project driven by seriousness, shrouded in modesty, and nourished by the desire to honor what your heart represents. You didn't force anything. You haven't manipulated anything, and yet the answer comes to you, because Allah sees everything. He knows how many times you've held back, how many times you've chosen to rely on Him rather than your desires. And today, He answers you with a subtle yet powerful gesture. Someone is ready to speak to you, for real. It's no coincidence that this person waited. They wanted to be sure. They wanted to be aligned. They wanted their approach to be pure, not to disturb your peace, but rather to contribute to it. There is a silent nobility in this waiting, a rare beauty. It is proof that love can be born in patience, that respect for God can precede the desire to draw closer to another. And now, this heart that has thought so much is ready. It won't come with light words or vague intentions. It will come with weight, with a clarity that doesn't shake the soul but reassures it. You didn't dream it. This is real. Someone somewhere has prepared to speak to you, and the voice you're about to hear won't be that of a mere human. It will also be the echo of a divine decision. 3. Allah's signs never shout, they gently confirm. Some wait for the sky to open, for the clouds to speak, for the voice to be loud, for destiny to knock at their door like a storm. But Allah acts differently. His signs don't impose themselves. They infuse like the light of dawn that silently invites itself into a room still asleep. He answers you delicately, not to destabilize you, but to comfort you. Did you want confirmation? Look around you. That strange dream that left you feeling calm when you woke up. That prayer in which you mentioned their name almost without realizing it. That inner voice that often returns when you're alone, when you haven't forced anything. These are the beginnings, the echoes of the divine. And then there was that repetition, that thought that comes back again and again, not violent, not intrusive, just there, gentle, constant, reassuring, as if your heart had already recognized something your mind is still struggling to formulate. That's where the real signs lie. They don't make noise, they don't try to rush you, they settle in. They give you the feeling that something is aligning, slowly, deeply. You come across their name somewhere. You hear a word that makes you think of them. You feel a thrill, not of fear, but of serene anticipation, as if an invisible door had opened a crack. And then the unexpected presence itself. A message, a word, an outstretched hand. It's not just anyone, it's that person. The one you were thinking about without understanding why, the one who, too, felt Allah's call. Because yes, Allah's confirmations aren't spectacular, they're perfect. They arrive at the right time with the right person, in the right frame of mind. They don't disturb, they reassure. They don't create panic, they bring peace. This voice you're about to hear, this message you're about to receive, this gaze that will be directed at you with modesty and intention, these are no coincidences. It is Allah who answers, not with fanfare, but with discreet, sufficient, profound evidence. And if you pay attention, you'll see that every detail, every small coincidence, every gentle yet persistent sensation has prepared you for this moment. It won't be a shock, but something obvious. Not an upheaval, but a confirmation. This person wants to speak. But in reality, Allah has already spoken. He has prepared you internally. He has left traces, clues, sensations. He has shown you again and again that this connection is not an illusion. When Allah wants to guide you, He does not impose anything on you. He inclines your heart and the other's heart until they come together, without noise, but with certainty. 4. It's not just love. It's a divine responsibility. There are words we don't take lightly. There are intentions that aren't shared to fill the silence of a life. When someone chooses to come to you with respect, after reflection, after invocation, it's not to fill an emotional void. It's to assume a responsibility before Allah. In Islam, to love is not just to feel. It's to carry, it's to build. It's to stand with the other before the world and before God and say, I am ready to be a support, a shelter, a cause of tranquility. The person who comes to you today has understood this. It's not a game, it's not a distraction, it's an inner calling, nourished by seriousness, surrounded by reverent fear and clear intention. And you must understand this too. If Allah inclines a heart towards you, it is not trivial. He does not play with emotions. He directs them wisely. When someone comes to you with the desire to honor your heart according to the values of faith, it is not by chance. It is a divine trust, a sacred trust. It is not flirtation. It is a sacred intention that seeks to be fulfilled with dignity. You must prepare for it, not by idealizing, but by being aware of the weight of what it entails. It is not a moment of emotional intoxication. It is a moral contract, a covenant under construction, an answered prayer that begins with a word, but which only has meaning if it is followed by solid actions. This person does not want to seduce you. They want to speak to you, and in their words there is a rare sincerity, a desire to build, to do things in order, to not rush things, to lay the foundations on faith, not fantasy. And that is precious. If you feel inner peace at this idea, if you see that the signs are aligned, if you sense that it is not the turmoil of the heart, but its stability that dominates, then recognize the hand of Allah in this process. He gives you an opportunity. He entrusts someone to you. And in that gesture, He elevates you. This is not a romantic adventure. It is a spiritual mission, that of two souls who want to protect each other, soothe each other, walk together toward preservation and tranquility. It is work, a construction, a silent pact that begins with words but must be translated into patience, effort, and loyalty. So be clear-headed, be ready, and above all, be grateful. For when Allah sends you someone who wants to talk to you, it is not so that you are flattered. It is so that you are awakened. 5. Stay connected to Allah, not to your fears. Fear, it's normal. It strikes when the unknown approaches, when something big is brewing, when an answer begins to manifest. You feel it, don't you? That hesitant heart, that inner voice asking, what if I'm wrong? What if I'm still suffering? But listen carefully. It's not fear that should guide your decision. It's your connection to Allah. Remember your du'as, those nights when you begged for an answer, for direction, for healthy love. It's not now, when the door opens, that you should back down. It's not at the moment of deliverance that you let yourself be frozen by the wounds of the past. For Allah forgets none of your tears. And if He sends you this opportunity, it's not to break you, it's to rebuild you. There are encounters that don't come simply to fill a loneliness. They come as divine answers, and sometimes they are silent at first, discreet, subtle. but they carry a clarity that only faith can recognize. You sense that it's not an illusion. You sense that it's not a repeat of the past. So why let fear extinguish this light? The Shaitan wants you to be paralyzed. He wants you to doubt everything. He wants you to miss out on sincere things under the pretext of excessive caution. He insinuates himself into your thoughts to amplify the wounds. But your Lord invites you forward. He soothes you. He guides you without imposing. He offers you a clarity that comes not from the mind, but from the heart. When someone comes to you with nobility, with patience, with an intention aligned with faith, don't run away. Don't be the author of your own abandonment. You prayed for this, and now that the answer is taking shape, don't interpret your fear as a signal to stop. Take it as a call to reconnect even more strongly with Allah, for it is through Him that you will discern, not through your past, not through your anxieties, through Him. Don't let yesterday's pain bury today's blessing. This isn't just someone who wants to speak to you. It's Allah who invites you to hear, through them, an answer, a sign, a continuation, a direction. You can't ask for something in prayer and then reject it as too good to be true. You weren't guided this far to get lost again. You were prepared for this moment. You were refined by trials. And now you're being offered an opportunity, not perfect, not easy, but sincere, authentic, real. And that in itself is enormous. So stand up, stay steadfast, stay connected to Allah. It is He who has guided you to this point. It is not fear that merits your loyalty. It is your faith. When Allah answers, He never does so half-heartedly. What you feel, what you hear, what this person will soon say to you, all of this is not trivial. It is a divine construction. He has prepared you for this, and He is preparing this person too. But remember, it is not up to you to force things. It is up to you to recognize when Allah opens a door. So if your heart resonated during this message, if you feel that it speaks to you personally, share this video. Perhaps someone else needs to hear that their time has come too. Leave a comment. Tell me if you feel that these words are for you. And above all, keep your heart connected to Allah. Because when He confirms, it is always to bring you closer to what is pure, stable, and blessed.